Headed out to the Clifton Comic Show, picked up a stack of comic books, because of course I did. What's in here? I'm not even sure. No, I have a pretty good idea. Some keys, some nice books, some higher grade books. Let's take a look. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description of this video. We've got all sorts of information down there in terms of links to Instagram, whatnot, my eBay, my email. So you can take a look at that. So today it was Mother's Day, but I had the opportunity to take the morning off and go to the Clifton Comic Show. And it was a little bit quieter than usual. A lot of the vendors, or some of the vendors that are usually there, were not. And some of the folks that I run into frequently were not. There was a much smaller crowd due to Mother's Day. So what I did have, and it was funny, they opened up late. Usually the doors open right at 10 a.m. We had to wait till 10:05. Not a big deal. But it was... I had the opportunity to kind of go through some back issue boxes that ordinarily, you know, folks like Erod and Streetside Anthony would be pillaging before I got there. Ollie is a guy who had a big setup there, and he always does half price and gave even more of a discount when you buy a lot of books. So I built a pretty good stack. And I only bought from 3 vendors. I was looking around and didn't really find anything, because by the time I went through Ollie's entire table, which had to be, I don't know, 30 long boxes, more or less in order. So I didn't have to go through book by book, but I was pulling books out, you know, almost every box, or every other box at least. And I got a decent stack of books, as you'll see. So let's take a look at what the show looked like.
Available today or not? If you're feeling
and Luke is the only one powerful enough to face him head on. He has a vision.
what?
So again, I started off with Ollie, and but I did get some books from some other vendors. I got 3 more Action Comics. I'm trying to finish off the run from 300 up, 310. I need, and these are all pretty decent condition. And it listed at 4 or 5, which I think is a little conservative. This is the first appearance of Jewel Kryptonite. 319. The Condemned Superman. They're going to use that weird otherworld method of execution on me, yet I'm innocent. I think he turned out okay in the end. And then this is a pretty nice copy of 354, that puny powerhouse, Captain Incredible. Is that a 60s DC book or what? Yeah. Then there was one vendor who I often buy Golden Age books from, and I was just kind of flipping through and looking at my May 1946 list, and I did find a book. And it's a little interesting. It is Foremost, Volume 5, number 2, number 18 overall. Pretty nice copy. I have this at like about a 6. It's one of these books. I'm trying to think of the publisher. Where it's all these different kind of action and adventure strips, a little bit of comedy in there. Let's do a little bit of a flip through on the book. But I just want to get the name of the publisher if I can. I might not be able to. I'll look at the indicia. What do we got? Novelty Press is the publisher of this book. So, you know, it's a decent copy for 1946. Nice and solid. You know, well attached. Probably wasn't read a lot, to be honest with you. But it has Dick Cole, which maybe is something you need to see a physician about. And it's a pretty long strip. Volto from Mars? He has a one-page. Edison Bell? He was like a boy inventor or something. The Cadet featuring Kit Carter. And that, I guess, is the cover thing. A cadet beaten by a mere girl. And what I like about this is it's a nice shape. It is in, you know, for a Golden Age book, this is right in my wheelhouse in terms of Candid Charlie. Again, not something I know a lot about. So those are the, you know, there's a text page and everything. But I like these books, and to collect all the different comics from May 1946 just gives you a really interesting peek into popular culture at the time. Gives a nice snapshot of the hobby and of Americana in post-war U.S. And it says on here, Nina Albright. I'm going to assume that's the cover artist. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with her work. I don't know what else we have about Nina Albright. She worked in Bernard Bailey's studio and worked with L.B. Cole. Well, on Novelty Press, she worked on such features as Young King Cole, Lem the Graham, Contact Comics, Dr. Doom, Bullseye Bull, The Cadet. Mostly backup features in the novelty titles Foremost and Target. She also worked on Fiction House, including Captain Terry Thunder, Hooks Devlin, Inspector Dayton, and Senorita Rio. Fiction House, and an unknown writer created Come in Debt, hero and featured Star Trek Comics #1. At Holyoke, she worked on Miss Victory. She also worked for Aviation Press on their Black Venus and illustrated romance stories for Timely, such as Junior Miss. So, and the cover, it is, I mean, the artwork is, it's sometimes interesting with these lesser known publishers. Sometimes you do get like some pretty good draftsmanship. I mean, that is, you know, that artwork's not bad. It's not dynamic. It's not Alex Schomburg or Jack Kirby or Lou Fine, but it's better than some stuff that even the bigger publishers had. So then this is, I picked up a stack of books at Ollie's table. The sticker price was $7.76. he charged me $300. Gave me a great deal, so about more than 60% off sticker price. I picked up a couple of issues I needed of Mr. Miracle. Those are both in pretty nice shape. 14 and 16. Is that 14? Yep. And then I was pulling out a bunch of Mr. Monster comics. I'm just trying to finish. I figured, let me finish this run. I saw them in there, and there were a bunch of one-shots with this. What's interesting about, which issue is this issue? High Octane Horror. Art by George Evans, Jerry Grandinetti, Basil Wolverton, and Michael T. Gilbert. Michael T. Gilbert is the creator of Doc Stern, Mr. Monster. Super duper special number 2. Then had a Ultimate Fantastic 421. 3 copies. One of them in lower grade. This one's in bad shape. 3 copies of 22. 21's the first cameo. This is the first full appearance of the Marvel Zombies. This will go in a spec pile. The Action Comics, the Foremost, the Mr. Miracles, those are all going in the PC. And then 2 copies of 23, the second appearance of Marvel Zombies. I think I'm going to read these because I never read that Ultimate Fantastic 4 run. X-Men 248, this gold indicates a second print, much like New Mutants 87. First appearance of Cable has the gold background for the second print. This is the first Jim Lee artwork on X-Men. A newsstand edition of Uncanny X-Men 186, the Life-Death story with Storm and Forge. Pretty nice copy. It does have a little bit of a blunting down here in the corner, so it's not a 9.8. Of Wolverine 75, where we learn about his that he does have that he does have bone claws. 2 copies of X-Men 24, which has been a hot book recently. It's always a coveted book. One of these, I think it's this one, is a gradable candidate. That's going to go in a press pile. This I picked up. I like the cover. I'm kind of picking up these Wonder Womans here and there. Not really focusing on it, but 222. I thought this was in really nice shape. It had a sticker of $12, so I got it for like $5. It's probably like a 9.2. Not that this book is worth getting graded, but it's, you know, just a handsome book to have in the copy. That must be from about 76. And this was a period in time where these Wonder Woman stories, she had gotten her powers back, but the Justice League wouldn't let her in right away. She had to reprove herself, and in every issue, you'll see a different member of the Justice League on the cover. And Batman saying, "Reader, help me decide who's the real Wonder Woman. Our lives depend on your answer." Basically, Batman's saying, let's look at a Wonder Woman adventure and see if she's really worthy of membership again. She was. They didn't even make her secretary. Justice Society back in World War II made her secretary. I also think it was a ploy by DC because I'm sure Wonder Woman sales were lagging at the time. And that was right about the time of the TV series. It might have been right before the TV series. Because during the TV series, for the first season of the 3 seasons of the Linda Carter television series was set during World War II. And at the time, the comics were set during World War II using Earth 2 Wonder Woman. So, any rate, I think they were just trying to boost sales by having Batman, Superman, Flash, etc. on the cover. Then I picked up this, Elvira's House of Mystery. This is a couple things I liked about it. A Sienkiewicz cover and an Adam Strange appearance. Thought those were cool. Then I picked up a few World's Finest, just because I thought the prices were good. A 15 center, number 194, and the condition is pretty good on these too. 215, 216, and 220. Let no man write my epitaph. That was who was in that movie? Was it Burt Lancaster? I think it was a Burt Lancaster Western from the early 70s. This classic cover by Brian Boland with Starro, Justice League 190. It's a pretty nice copy. Of course, the price is right. I picked this up. It ended up being maybe about $10. Spawn 1. Sure. Reasonably high-grade copy. I'm going to see if this can press. I really want a 9.8 of Micronauts 1. Then Spectacular Spider-Man 116. Sabretooth first appearance of the Foreigner, who's supposedly going to be in the Kraven movie. 2 copies of Ms. Marvel number 9. The first appearance of Deathbird. That book made the hot list recently. because of her appearance in X-Men 97. Then Uncanny X-Men 268 classic Jim Lee cover. This is a little bit lower grade, and I picked up this book in a very high grade last month that I showed on the channel. A couple of things going for this book. Action Comics 419. It does have this great Neil Adams cover with the photo of New York in the background. It's also the first appearance of the Human Target. Then this, I thought I got a good deal on. A nice copy of Shazam #1. Wasn't going to leave that behind. Uncanny X-Men 239, first cover appearance of Mr. Sinister, and first cover appearance of Madeline Pryor. It's been a hot book. X-Men 168, first appearance of Madeline Pryor. Avengers 181, first appearance of Scott Lang before he becomes Ant-Man. That might be a pressable candidate. This might be a 9/8 candidate. I'm going to take I think I have to look at my notes if that's going in that pile or not. Amazing Spider-Man 212, first appearance of Hydro Man. This is a candidate. I can see what a press can do to this. This is probably the kind of book, and the same thing with the Avengers 181, that you want to put in a pre-screen, a 9/8 pre-screen, because there's a big drop-off. Like a 9/8 of this book is in excess of $200, and 9/6 is under $100. So that's really a book you want to have in higher grade, in a 9/8, if you're going to have it graded. And for what I paid for it to have a pre-screen, with the discount of pre-screens, $7.20 plus a little bit for shipping. So it kind of makes sense. You know, even if it gets rejected, I can sell it, and at the very least, probably break even. And then I picked this up. Mr. Miracle #2. This is the first appearance of Granny Goodness. And it's Mr. Miracle #2. Beautiful book, but there's a little bit of rust in the staples. And you can see it from the centerfold. It's not a lot of rust, but slightly rusty staples. And then this book, and this is the book I want to talk about, because this character, I have this character's first appearance 4 times over. I have the first cover appearance, the first solo story. This is the first solo issue, and there's also a first issue in their own title. And this is a character that is a speculation character, but a fairly safe speculation character. I think the probability of this character coming to a movie or TV show is very high. I would say more than 90%. Can't guarantee anything, but, you know, look at Norrin Rad. But I think we're going to see this character. And this is a good book. I have this book a couple times over. And it is DC Superstars #11. DC Superstars of Magic. And this is the first Zatanna solo book, right? So DC Superstars was kind of an anthology title. It had reprints sometimes. It had new stories. This has a new story and some reprints. It does benefit from this gray Morrow cover. Probably about an 8.5-ish, maybe a little bit more with a press. There's a little bit of thing up in the top right-hand corner, and I don't think that's going to hurt it, the pencil mark in the M, because I think that is a date, but it does make an indentation, and I'm not going to erase red. Try to erase pencil out of red. That would be a disaster, no matter how you try it. So, yeah, this is a pricey book, and I think this does kind of push against the idea of what is a key because of the cover. This Gray Morrow cover is amazing, right? But let's talk a little bit about speculation involving the different levels of introduction of a character. So let's look at Key Collector for Zatanna. The first, looking under the character, first book that pops up is the first appearance of her father, Zatanna. He was created by Fred Gardner in the Golden Age and was one of the several characters under different publishers that Gardner did of magicians in the Golden Age, much in the tradition of pulp character Mandrake the Magician. Zatanna used his magical powers by speaking words backwards, which he passed on to his daughter. There were other characters that did that as well, but that's a story for another day. But his first appearance, you're not going to get because it came in Action Comics number 1. We can't afford that, but that's not Zatanna. Her first appearance is in Hawkman number 4. Now, during the comic boom, there was a phrase: if you can't get the first appearance, go for the second appearance, the first cover, the first solo title, the first solo issue. All of those things became things that people were looking for, as people were hungry to get books. It was hard to get first appearances of key characters. So let's just jump into Go Collect for some of these books to see kind of how they fared over time. And so Hawkman number 4 is the key for Zatanna. It's her first appearance. It is a Silver Age book from 1964. Not an easy book to get in high grade. There's 1,700 on the census, but not many high grade ones, right? If you're going to get top 25% of census, you can get a 7.0. It's 27.6, top 27.6. So I chose the most common sold grade, which is a 5.5. Now here's the graph for 5.5 prices. Always a key, right? Always a key, always worth several $100s, right? Before the pandemic hits, it's climbing 4, 5, 6. And then in 2021, it jumps up to $1,500. And then it settled down again in the $800+ range, and then a couple $1,200 sales. And it has since course corrected. The sales recently are in the $500 to $600 range. A couple of sales from last month of $650, back in January of $630, last August $626. So this is approximately a $600 book. And that's a little bit more than it was pre-boom. So it's kind of stayed on the trend line. It corrected down, but not that harshly. And that's with no news of the character. Now, this is one of those DC characters that is fairly easy spec. There's a great probability she's going to come to the screen. It's a good Silver Age first appearance, and it makes Zatanna kind of akin to Marvel characters, right? And let's even say Marvel secondary characters like Black Widow, right? Came out about the same time and has been a popular character over the years, has been used as a backup, a member of a team for many years. So I think that's kind of a good parallel character. Whereas a lot of the things with DC, a lot of the first appearances are Golden Age appearances, 1938 to 1942. So good luck finding first appearances there. Anyway, Zatanna, solid first appearance. It is reasonably affordable. If you wanted to go down to, let's say, a 3.0, that's going to cost you, if it loads up, there we go. A 3.0 is about a $400 book, right? So entry level to this book is going to take several $100s in a graded copy. Then let's go to her first cover appearance and her second appearance, which is in Adam 19 in 1965. You can see the cover appearances. She's over here in the corner, just a headshot. It would be better if it was an action shot, but that's okay. And so that doesn't sell a lot. There's only 142 on the census. I took the most common grade, and which is a 7 or most commonly sold grade. Last sale was in December for $150, and that's down from accepted offers of the $300 range, and even a $300 sale in 2021. A couple $300 sales in 2021. So not a book that moves a lot. So, we have the first appearance, second appearance, still a Silver Age, first cover, still Silver Age, but not a lot of movement there, at least in terms of graded books. Now let's go to her first solo story, which is here in Flash 198, but she's not on the cover. It's got this interesting Gil Kane cover with Flash praying for something. And this book has been on the upturn, right? But not a lot sold. The last sale, again, during the boom for $250. Prior to that, it was mostly under $100. Well, we did have this $299 sale. This is a 9.4. 71 copies on the census, 398, 796s, and 1294s, right? So, it's probably, you probably got to get this graded into the 9s to get, to have it worth getting graded. It is a white cover. I've always found it hard to get this white here, white and not tanned as we see here in this copy. So then what about Retelling Your Origin, Supergirl 5? Now, Supergirl's been a little more popular recently. Let's look at a 9.6. It's a book from 1973. Hard to get a 9.6 in. Most recent sale last month, $140. And that's up from, pre-boom sales all under 100. The Supergirl run is only 10 issues. It ran from 72, I guess, to 74. So it's collectible. You get all 10 issues, and maybe to get all 10 issues in high grade, somebody just wants them all. You might be able to get like a 9.4 plus for $1,000 or so for all of them. So if you're a big, and Supergirl, again, as I've said, has become like some of the other female heroes from DC, becoming more popular. Now, here's the book that we were talking about, DC Superstars number 11. I think a lot of it is this cover. I think this Gray Morrow cover is what drives the value of this. And we can see, it's been creeping up, but it hasn't sold in order for us to be able to see. And I'm talking about a 9.8, right? Even if we take it down to an 8.0, 8.0, I think is the most commonly sold grade. And look how consistent this has been, right? 100, 125, up to a 225, up to a 270, never really exploded. A little bit of a correction here, but it's kind of come back up to where it was in 2022. And a $219 sale from last month, which is better than it was selling, like same sale in September of 2022. So this is a book that also has maintained its strength. There are 320 copies on the census, so there are quite a few of them. If you want to get in the top quartile, which is kind of what I look at, as a reasonable investor grade, 9.4. You get this book in a 9.4, that would be awesome. I do have another raw copy that's really nice that I have yet to submit, just because I have boxes and boxes of books that I am planning to submit. But, even from, you look at today's haul, how many books? 4, 5, 6 books that I am planning to get graded. So that it takes time. And I do my own pressing and cleaning, so it takes time. But this is a book that has maintained its value. And I wanted to talk about one other book regarding Zatanna, and that's her first issue, her first self-titled series, which is Zatanna Special number 1, also with a Gray Morrow cover. But I don't think it's as attractive a cover as the DC Superstars book. But look here, right? Under $100 throughout its history. It jumped up around 100 in 2021, up to as high as 150 in 2022, and settled back down. An $81 sale in February. That's the fixed price. Most of these are at auction. I'm thinking just the fixed prices are sitting there. Somebody's asking 150. There's another Zatanna one. The Zatanna keys also extend. If we go to Key Collector, right? She joins the Justice League Dark, to her own a Catwoman Adam Hughes cover. Catwoman Adam Hughes cover. That's an underappreciated one, if you ask me. You tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think about the covers. Catwoman 58, underappreciated, maybe. Catwoman 72 by Adam Hughes. This is a good book. This is a $100+ book in a 9.8. Great story. It's more about Batgirl than Zatanna, although she does a keep rolling it. Then she got her own series shortly after that, 2010 to, I guess, 2012. Adam Hughes cover and Adam Hughes cover in issue 13. And then the print run started to get small. Adam Hughes in 14 and 15 and 16 are the most expensive issues, and a Justice League Dark appearance. So, yeah, that's I think my point is, let me know what you think in the comments below. My point is, I think that that idea that was being propagated throughout the boom, and I myself may have been guilty of that. So if you can't get the first appearance, go for the second appearance. I have plenty of second appearances of like John Stewart, right? They're not going to go to the moon. We saw a book like a character like Moon Knight, where as we ramped up to the series, his series was right in line with a comic boom. It was Werewolf by Night 32, and then 33 is his second appearance, and then Marvel Spotlight 28 is his first solo story, and then Moon Knight 1 is his first solo series, and all those books went bananas, and then they came back crashing back down to earth because, amongst other things, is Moon Knight #1. It's not a hard book to find it high grade. It's from 1980. Um, you know, the thing with Zatanna being a Silver Age character, most of her keys are silver and bronze, which are a little bit tougher to secure in high grade. Um, Modern books, for the most part, there are enough 9/8s to go around. You know, for you start to tick back into the bronze and silver, grade does produce scarcity. So, people looking for high grade copies, I kind of try to sniff out high grade copies of keys. So that's what we're looking at. And I think Zatanna is a good example of that because she does parallel in terms of the timing of her first appearance with a lot of Marvel characters. Well, that's it for this video. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate you watching the channel and staying this long into the video. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this book is here for no particular reason. Just like when I was sorting it, it didn't belong in any specific pile, so it went there. It's not really being displayed for any reason. I probably should. Usually what I display is my whatnot sales. Anyway, a couple of my videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.